Alrighty, we are back, guys, with another community AMA. And this time, we really want to dive into some great updates that have been happening this quarter with Bondex. And we are really glad that you've joined us here. So, big welcome to all our Bondex community. And obviously, a big welcome to Ignasio Palmira. Ignacio, thanks for jumping on. We've got a green room thing that's showing up there. Let me just take that off. Ignacio, just want to say a quick hello.
Hello, hello. How are you? Very, very excited for this update. Hello to all Bondens. Hello to our community.
Awesome. So lots to go through today. And we really want to dive into everything that's been going on behind the scene at Bondex and bring the whole community up to speed with where things are at with Bondex as a company, where we're at with TGE, the road to getting the token launched, but also some really big updates as well that we want to share with you around some things you may not have seen coming. So, first and foremost, I'd actually love to start, Ignacio, just by saying big thank you to all the Bondins who have joined the Bondin Army. And if you don't know what this is, you can find details of this in our Telegram and in our Discord community. But the Bondin Army are for those Bondins who are putting their Bondex profile, their new public profile, into their Twitter. And we are building out a public Twitter list of everyone who's doing this. We're giving you an exclusive Discord role. And we're also going to be doing exclusive competitions and giveaways and rewards just for those who are in the Bondin Army. So these are for the most committed Bondins in our community. So big thank you to all those who have joined so far. And we can't wait to surprise you with some good updates as to what's coming in there. But Ignacio, I would love to dive in straight away into some of the updates. And we've got a little agenda here. So I'll let you take the first big update and let our community know what's going on.
Absolutely. We're very excited to announce that we are acquiring two companies. They're both the reason that we're enabled to do these acquisitions is that we've been very, very conservative with the cash that we raised in our last round with CoinList. Unfortunately, the playbook in the space in general has been build without achieving product market fit or monetization. Those were not the priorities of the space. However, the gatekeepers, which are the exchanges, are now looking for financially sustainable companies in order to list them. These companies have built great tech and significant revenue, but we're in the fortunate position to be able to acquire them. So we're acquiring two. The goal is to reach a 7-figure yearly profit and expand our user base and traction. This gives the confidence to exchanges and other partners that we're basically self-sustainable from a financial perspective, and we're going to be able to last a long time. I think exchanges and the market are tired of seeing companies that raise a treasury and then run away without actually delivering a product or having a sustainable business model that generates revenue. That's not our playbook. So the acquisition brings, solid revenue, enterprise clients, and compound network effects. Expect the announcement of the first acquisition very next week, and then towards the end of the month, the second acquisition. This expands our services, not revenue scale clients, and they're in different verticals within the Bondex ecosystem.
Now that's a massive update. I think there's not many companies who are bringing in Web3 like real revenue. So really looking forward to seeing that. And I think we're going to have a lot of questions just about that and about some of the updates that we've got in this call. So I really want to encourage anyone who's watching, submit your questions in the chat, and we're going to do a Q&A at the end of this call for any questions that you have, and we see all the questions that come through. But I'd love then to go on to that next announcement as well, Ignacio, and I'll leave you to take that one away.
Absolutely. So on exchange and TGE update, we have offers from 3 of the top 5 global exchanges and a total of 10 exchanges. The final stage of due diligence is underway. One exchange, it's actually tier 0, is the very top of the food chain. Why are we taking a little bit longer than the end of Q1? Is because their due diligence and offer is taking a little bit longer, and we also want to execute this M&A before we do the token launch, because this will enable us to have revenue to buy back the token, to burn buy mechanisms, and ultimately ensure the high performance of our token and our chart. So yeah, those are the reasons. And this is not due to market conditions, although you can see we're in choppy waters with the market. Bitcoin's down 20% year to date, Ethereum 40, Sol 35. But the problem is altcoins, which is us. They're 70 to 90% down on average. And not to talk about the macro and the broader market. The S&P is down, the Nasdaq is down 9 to 3%, and we're part of that risk assets. And I cannot predict the markets. I cannot control macro. All I can control is that we are, as a fundamental, on the fundamentals of the company. In fact, the lead exchange gave us a slot for this month, March, but then ultimately they paused their listings for the entire month. They haven't listed a single project. And this is one of the top exchanges in the world. So now we're essentially moving the slot likely to April or May, and this M&A targets, as well as secure some of those other top exchanges. And to give you a little hint, we're talking about US, Asia, and Korea. So, cannot disclose names. It's so highly, highly confidential. But this little extra time gives us time to read the entire project and ensure the performance of the TGE and the company going beyond.
Awesome. And one of the things we get a lot from users and from our community is, why can't you just tell us a date? Like, why can't you just give us a date and get the exchanges on board for that? We've seen other projects list this month. Why hasn't Bondex listed? What would you say to that?
I would say that I haven't seen. I think it's what you can see is that there used to be a lot of alt launches, but now it's very rare that you see an alt, and it has to be a really big project. So due to the fragmented liquidity, the kind of the alt season has never arrived. So now you have to be a very, very high quality project to be able to achieve that, and the slots are very limited. So that's why we're waiting. So what are the options? We could launch with tier 2 exchanges. We could launch with DEXs. We've done the A/B testing of our tokenomics. We need the tier 1, tier 0 exchanges and good community sentiment to have enough buy pressure so that it doesn't, we don't have a bad launch. That would be bad for everyone, every single token holder, right? In my view, timing matters, and fundamentals are a must to last beyond that initial pump, right? In reality, tokens are 90% hype and 10% fundamentals. The initial hype allows you to build liquidity, right? And then you transform that liquidity into products using fundamentals that allow you to last, right? I'm not in here to make a quick buck. I'm a long-term person playing a long-term game. And that's why I believe it's worth waiting a little bit longer. We're ready to launch within 2 weeks of market alignment. We've already lined up our market makers, our legals, our smart contract audits. Everything is ready to go. It's more about getting that slot from the exchanges, integrating these acquisitions, right? So we're choosing the disciplined entry over short-term exposure. Tier 1 launch, stronger price, support, buy pressure, deeper liquidity, more marketing, more adoption of our product. The other option is immediate launch, right? High risk, low volume, weak support. Most of the alts that are doing in the market right now, right? These acquisitions enable us financial sustainability and token strategic buybacks and token burns that essentially enable and ensure that we have good performance from a chart perspective in the medium and long term, which is what you want in the short month, and that's the benefit. However, for that, we need the support of the community. As we are in this crucial junction, if we just get a bunch of fight from people because we're not launching, even though we're presenting you with in full transparency the reasons for it, then maybe the due diligence from the tier 1 exchanges, that will not help, right? Bad sentiment will not help in that launch. So even though it's counterintuitive, and I understand all the frustration from having delayed and moving the TGE and everything else, I think at one point I said on the group that if we didn't TGE in Q1, I would jump, and I couldn't side the window. I understand all the frustration from investors, from token holders, everything else. I'm the first one that's frustrated, right? Me from a personal perspective, I'm not looking for an immediate liquidity event, but I'm looking to change the world with my company, and I have a really, really long cliff. I'm the last one out of the boat. So it's just as soon as possible. But if I do that, I don't think I'm doing the best thing for the project or the token holders. That's why we've changed the tokenomics to reward your patience, right? We've shortened liquidity vesting terms and everything else, so you get your rewards faster. And because we're beefing all this up, it's going to be better, right? So what we're building in the meantime is, those acquisitions, which are going to be driving more users, more revenue, more platform activity, and these directly feed into the value of the BDXN token, right? Revenue funded by buybacks, supply burn and auto lock mechanisms, expanded token utility. And just to finalize, what is the current platform traction? We're now at 400,000 monthly active users, and you've seen our on-chain features. This was one of the essentials that the large exchanges wanted to see on the tier one VCs, which was on-chain native or blockchain being used within our products and services. So we have our reputations, web profiles, and we have the Bondex IDs, right? We've achieved over 250,000 attestations on the base attestation service. This actually puts us above Coinbase KYCs. That's, we caught their eye. That's why they retweeted us on Base and they made us available on the Coinbase wallet. And now we're actually building some cool stuff with Solana that will be out very, very soon. Top tier clients keep coming in and keep coming in for more. Not just Binance and CoinMarketCap, we have been in the platform before, but Solana, Ansa, and some other platforms. And now with one of these acquisitions, we become the undisputed leader for talent in this. What are our current partners? Solana, Base, OKX Wallet, BitGet, Tone Foundation, which we're building a mini app with. What this acquisition brings and what we have now is thousands of live jobs, a lot of verified bounties, right, in the hundreds of thousands, and our AI powered, which we're developing in full-fledged agents that are going to be helping you with your career. And then we're going to be releasing Airdrop Season 2 once we have a TGE set date, which, by the way, Paul, you asked earlier about setting a TGE date. I'm hoping that we set a specific date within the next 2 weeks. However, why do I not set a specific? Creates, bad expectations. People take it as a promise when it's not completely dependent on us. You could take Binance OKX, they can change their mind and give us a slot that's convenient to their pipeline of launches. So because I cannot control it, I want to make promises I cannot fulfill. That's really the key. So some final thoughts, so from our team. Our team has not sold a single token in any of these rounds, right? Actually, we are being extremely conservative with our cash position because we want to ensure a good launch. That's what's enabled us. And actually, we're all working below market salaries because we all believe in the project, and we're 25 strong in the team. We're not slowing down, guys, just timing this for the maximum impact. Thank you.
Thanks, Ignacio. I think that's really important. And every day we're looking and seeing comments that are coming through and questions that are coming through. And by far the biggest question is around when TGE. So I super appreciate you adding more clarity on that around the listing time, like what we're looking for, the fact that we're 2 weeks, we're ready to go within 2 weeks notice, that how far we're on with all the other exchanges and the conversations that are there and the due diligence and all the rest. I think there is still a few questions that I'm seeing come through. So let me just load a couple of these up. Okay, so seeing a question here, very practical. When do I get my airdrop? So a lot of our community, they've been with us since the beginning, loading up the Bondex app. They participated in the season 1 airdrop, and that's one of the big questions. We see it a lot, but seeing this question a lot. When will I get my airdrop?
Right, the airdrop happens right at TGE, and it will be distributed in a number of ways. We're using Magna, we're using avenues, but what we've done is we've really reduced the vesting and cliffs. Paul, maybe you can remind me, what are the benefits of the changes we've done to the tokenomics so that right from TGE, people start vesting their tokens and enjoying the upside?
Yeah, originally when users were receiving their airdrop, they'd had to wait 18 months to receive the full airdrop after the date of TGE. One of the things we recognized was that obviously we would have wanted to launch a lot earlier. And so we've updated that vesting period from 18 months down to 12, which is a huge drop. And it means that you'll get your full completion of your airdrop even faster. We've also been able to increase that initial season one airdrop, and we've increased the value of that by millions. So it was originally 1.8 million, and now it's 2.8 million across our bonding community. So this means that you're going to get even more on that season one airdrop. And we've also been exceptionally aggressive with bots. So any airdrop people have participated in the past, you'd have seen a big focus on trying to remove bots. And the reason is if we're able to remove bots, we're able to take that allocation that was going to bots and give it to our community. So this is something we've been working really hard on. And we really want to make sure that when we do announce TGE, that we have a really fantastic kind of momentum around the season one airdrop. And we'll also then be looking at when do we launch kind of season two. And we've got a lot of momentum as well around the Bondex ID, the public profiles. And we're really looking forward to opening that up. And that will be coming all in due time.
Awesome.
It'll be really good. Another question here. This is saying, okay, what chain are you guys going to launch on? So this is from Moses.
So this is an interesting question. We are going to launch on the ERC20 token because that's with CoinList. However, we are being officially backed by the Solana Foundation, and there's a few offers from other chains and ecosystems that want us to bridge some of our tokens to their native ecosystems and DEXs. So for now, we're also going to be bridging some supply to the Solana ecosystem tokens and liquidity that would be in SPL.
Amazing. And that, why are we doing that?
So the strategy behind that is, well, Solana doesn't have a social play, meaning that, you have Farcaster, for example, and that's on Ethereum. But by being the decentralized social play on Solana, we're getting a lot of support and exposure and access to their community and DEXs. And number two is, I think what you've seen in the last few months is that 40% of the liquidity in the market has gone to decentralized exchanges, predominantly on Solana due to meme ideas. And then you get the support of Solana to get more exposure and amplification. That's going to equal more price action, more buy pressure, right? And when you look at the other 60% of the centralized exchange volume, 50% of that is Binance. So it's a smart move to be on the decentralized exchange for Solana. For everyone that gets their tokens in ERC20, we're going to have a wormhole MTT open portal where you can bridge your tokens onto Solana whenever you want.
Really good. Awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here, Ignacio. Is there anything else that you want to kind of share with the bonding community?
Appreciate the patience. I know a lot of people are frustrated, especially when it comes to the CoinList due to their investment on our delay. However, I would cite that there's been other projects that delayed for the similar reasons to us, and those have been the most successful launches, and then they have performed. If you look for alts, it's not been great. There's been a few outliers, and what we're trying to do is replicate the playbooks of these outliers, projects, and performance, so we can deliver you good value. We're not just delaying for any reason, we're really, really following the best strategy, and it's going to pay off. That's it. That's all I wanted to contribute, and I would love to answer some of the questions from the community.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the questions that we've kind of gone through here. There's a lot of people kind of wondering around how the airdrop will work, how the TGE will work. People about what about the coin list? When will they be able to actually use those BDXN tokens? But that's pretty easy. That's obviously just when TGE is launched. But yeah, I think what we'd love, guys, is for the questions as well. Please put them through the Telegram channel, on the Twitter as well. And Ignacio and the team will all do our best to kind of respond to any questions that people have got. But for now, Ignacio, I think that's it. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining. And Ignacio, if there's any kind of final comments, I'll leave you to kind of sign off.
That's it. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, we're very, very close now. We need the support of our community. This will affect the due diligence and offers from the exchanges. And we already have secured a lot of offer exchanges. I'm talking about the very, very top of the market. So the question is, do you want an IDO in the #1 exchange in the world? Or do you want to create some FUD because you're frustrated and I know you've had plenty of patience, but just wait for us for a few more weeks. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.